I'm Kathy Jones with City of DeSoto, and we are here today in State Representative Helen Giddings' office, and she has a special message for you today about Nelson Mandela International Day.
Thank you very much, Kathy. It was in 2009 that the United Nations unanimously adopted a resolution celebrating Nelson Mandela's birthday, July 18th. They called on people all over the world to pause on that day and give 67 minutes of service, 1 minute for every year of public service that Nelson Mandela gave to the world. And so we are closing in on his birthday on July 18th. And as honorary consul for South Africa to Texas, I'm asking all of us in this state and really all across this country to pause on July 18th, Nelson Mandela's birthday, and reflect upon his life and the contributions that he gave to all of us to make this world a better place. He truly believed that only love can overcome hate, and he believed strongly that right will eventually overcome wrong. And I think particularly as we look at some of the things that are happening in our community and things that are causing us a lot of concern, how to forgive is something that he taught the world. How do you come out of prison after 27 years and not be bitter and not hate those people who were wardens and who worked in the prisons? And yet we know that he invited those people to have dinner with him. Well, I'm not sure that any of us can quite measure up to Nelson Mandela in that regard, but certainly I think his life taught us a lesson. And so again, I am asking everyone to please stop on July 18th, on Nelson Mandela's birthday, and give 67 minutes of service. And you may give that service at a place of your choice, where you feel that you can use your skills and where you can use your resources. We are not necessarily wanting to dictate where you do that service, but we're just asking that you do that. So let me tell you some of the things that are going to be taking place in recognition of Nelson Mandela International Day. On Wednesday, July 15th at 6 p.m. at St. Luke Community United Methodist Church, we will be having a screening of the movie Mandela, Long Walk to Freedom. That, of course, is the story of Nelson Mandela's life, and everyone is invited to come. It is free. It is open to the public. We do want to have an RSVP, and you will have that number on your screen shortly, because we will need to make sure that we have enough seating for everyone. And then on his actual birthday, which is July 18th, on a Saturday, we will go to the North Texas Food Bank at 9 o'clock in the morning, from 9 until 11, and we will help package and stock the foods there so that they can be made available for the families who are hungry. And as quiet as it is kept, Dallas has one of the highest child hunger rates in the country, if not the highest. There are a lot of children in this community who go to bed at night hungry. And so we're focusing our attention there on July 18th because we know how much the children meant to Nelson Mandela. And we will pause and have about 10 minutes to talk about the life of Nelson Mandela on July 18th at the food bank. And then on Sunday, July 19th, there will be services at 8 o'clock a.m. and at 11 a.m. at the St. Luke United Methodist Church, and we are asking people to join us there for one of those services. So, Kathy, in a capsule, that's what we're doing for Nelson Mandela International Day. And beyond that, I suppose I should say that I'm very fortunate that I actually knew President Nelson Mandela. First met him in 1994. I carried the legislation along with Rodney Ellis in the Senate, in the Texas legislature, to remove the sanctions that Texas had against the old apartheid government. And as a result of that, I was invited to come to South Africa, and it was such a surprise to me when I was at my hotel room and I got a call from Mary McStana, who was Nelson Mandela's chief of staff, and she said that the president wanted her to come and visit with me. And she came to my hotel to visit with me, and before she left, she gave me an invitation, and she said, "The president asked me to give this to you." I opened the invitation, and it was an invitation to have dinner with the president and 50 other people. And at that dinner, everybody who was in my party, including the press members, were clamoring to get his autograph. And I was going to be Miss Diplomat, and I simply was not going to ask for an autograph, even though I was dying inside. And much to my surprise, at my hotel the next day, I received a package from Mr. Mandela, from President Mandela, and in that package he had included for me everything from that dinner, my place card, the menu, and it was autographed on October the 5th of 1995 by Nelson Mandela. He also sent me his book, Long Walk to Freedom, that day. And so that began a very long and wonderful relationship with Nelson Mandela over the years, and I frequently traveled to South Africa and almost always had the pleasure of meeting with President Nelson Mandela. And I can tell you that just being in his presence, you had this sense that you were in the presence of greatness. And he spoke so very softly, and it just, you almost had to lean in to hear this powerful man. And meeting him and having a private meeting with him on October the 5th, 1995, was one of the most memorable moments of my life. And then later on, when he came to the United States, and he was given the Congressional Gold Medal when our president was Bill Clinton. And he invited me to that ceremony where he was given that medal. And a few weeks later, you can imagine my surprise when I was presented by the ambassador from South Africa to the U.S. this replica of that Congressional Gold Medal. I was totally overwhelmed. He did not give this to me himself, but he had his ambassador to deliver this to me. And so I have wonderful memories of President Nelson Mandela, and he was a great gift to this world. And he left lessons that all of us can use in our lives. And so I just invite everyone to join in, and let's reflect on Nelson Mandela's life and the lessons that we can learn from it.
Thank you so much, Representative Giddings, for sharing the wonderful experiences with Mandela, and also for letting the public know how we're going to be recognizing his special day.